Welcome to the Virtual Strategic Solutions Virtual Reality Simulation System. Accessing legacy dataset. Files loaded, simulation ready. The town was on the verge of disappearing in early 2075 when West Tech and the government offered it a rural development grant. The town accepted and within 3 months received a brand new water recycling system and sewer lines hooked into Thomas McDevitt's nearby farm. Things were looking up for Huntersville, especially when the West Tech Research Center was established at the town's outskirt in late August. The town bloomed, with a new bakery set to open in the spring of 2076. Although the West Tech employees made for poor conversation partners, clamming up or ignoring the townsfolk when they tried to befriend the city folk, Huntersville wasn't too bothered by it, as long as the money kept flowing in, even after West Tech started paying for testing rights. The flow of commerce suddenly halted in February 2076 after several people fell ill with a strange disease. The town suddenly became quiet as West Tech traffic stopped and more people started to become sick. Huntersville farmers petitioned West Tech to lend their hand and treat the sick. However, the situation steadily deteriorated, with West Tech physicians convincing the people of Huntersville that it was just a rare strain of flu, one that made people's skin change color and their hair to fall out. Thomas McDevitt, who asked West Tech for help, was nowhere to be seen. By August, the situation became dire. People started mutating, turning green and becoming deformed. West Tech doctors responded by confining the people of Huntersville to their homes, citing the contagious nature of the flu virus, and posting guards with hazmat gear throughout the town to keep them safe and contained. Huntersville became a ghost town by November, when the 12th Mountain Division was deployed to the town and ordered to enforce the quarantine. They were issued strict orders to follow full containment procedures due to the viral outbreak, citing concerns about a possible pandemic. The hazmat-equipped soldiers augmented the security, while West Tech researchers continued their experiments on the population, even as the mutating humans started to turn violent. Although the soldiers found West Tech authority to be detestable, at best, they followed orders and isolated the town with roadblocks and a secure perimeter. The soldiers were not equipped to deal with the Huntersville horror, especially Sergeant Jake Bianchi. A day into the deployment, he was tasked with leading the extraction of a Huntersvillian for West Tech. They weren't prepared to face feral mutants, one of which lunged at the sergeant with a knife, forcing Private Sanderson to shoot her on the spot. The situation deteriorated rapidly from that point, as the population of the town started attacking the barricades and the soldiers. By November 7th, the fighting convinced Sergeant Bianchi that something was wrong, that the town was actually a test site and the people used as guinea pigs. He vowed to get to the bottom of the mystery, which earned him a rapid court-martial charged with gross misconduct, dereliction of duty and insubordination. He was arrested 2 days later and replaced with the much more pliable Sergeant Orlando Garrett, who showed respect and deference for West Tech. West Tech's operations in the town were so secret that even the covert surveillance operatives at Sugar Grove were ordered by the Army to cease their operations and leave the town alone on October 7th, 2077, leaving the analysts surprised and curious as to what was so secret that even they weren't supposed to look at it. After the Great War, the raider gang known as the Trappers decided to settle near the Devil's Backbone, a rock formation just outside Huntersville. The group deliberately avoided the town proper, correctly assuming the water there was contaminated. Meanwhile, the leader of Enclave, Thomas Eckhart, desired to continue the war with China by launching nuclear ICBMs via the Appalachian Automated Launch System. However, in order to do so, the system had to first be tricked to raise the DEFCON rating by making it seem Appalachia was being invaded by an outside force. To do so, the Enclave first sent a scout team to Huntersville, though contact with the unit was lost. A second team was sent to the West Tech Research Center, who reported that the facility was abandoned, the FEV vats were neutralized, and it would take a science team to scavenge enough data to recreate the tough, violent, dangerous mutants that were requested by command. Despite worry from the overseeing officer, the science team was authorized by Eckhart in June 2080. The mission was successful at recreating the mutants, and by December 2082, the mutants began to cause significant issues for responders near Huntersville. At some point, the trappers also noticed the increased activity in Huntersville and sent a scout. When the scout returned bearing news of some big old greenans, the gang's leader, Walter Griswold, decided to see what was going on for himself. He arrived in time to see the Brotherhood of Steel battling the Huntersville super mutants and fled when it appeared the Brotherhood was losing. Soon after, the gang's camp was attacked by the super mutants. Though successful at repelling the attack, the gang requested additional help from the other raider gangs in the area to stage a counterattack in Huntersville. The reinforcements never arrived, and when the super mutants assaulted the camp again, this time the raid was more successful. Griswold and some of the other trappers were captured and brought to Huntersville, while the rest fled the region. The fighting between the super mutants and the alliance between the Responders and Brotherhood of Steel culminated in the 2086 Battle of Huntersville. After a rousing speech by the Brotherhood's leader, Elizabeth Taggarty, the alliance was successful at temporarily eradicating the mutants in the town, though at a high cost. Brotherhood Paladin Swafford, Brotherhood Squire De Silva, and several other Brotherhood members died and were subsequently buried in a graveyard outside Huntersville. At some point after the battle, Huntersville was reoccupied by super mutants and continues to be occupied by them between 2102 and 2104.